Good morning. Okay, so the Arnold ended yesterday. I have this little, it just will not stop sticking out. Arnold ended yesterday, obviously, and we have the final results. So I wish I had gone 1 through 10. Oh, I'm Sam. I am an Ifbb Bikini Pro. I feel like I should start saying who I am because not everyone is somebody who's been here before. So welcome if you're new. Okay, let's get into it. Um, let's go over the scorecard. So I wish I had I said all my top 10 in order of where I think they placed, but I only went 1 through 3 and we were right. So Vanya, Amy, Ashlyn, and it was not as tight as we might have thought between first and second place. So there were 3 points between Amy and Vanya, and 2 points between Amy and Ashlyn. And then Maria was in a solid fourth place. So when they did the confirmation of scoring at night, they left Maria on the side the whole time. She didn't get a chance to be in the center because it wouldn't have made sense based on the top three call out from earlier. But I loved that they brought her out for a top four. So where are we at in here? We're at like an hour 30. So we see all four of them here together. And I want to take back some things I said yesterday. So I wasn't sure about Amy or Ariana's pink suit, but every suit looked better on the live stream or on the final stream. So finals is held on a different stage. It's held on the stage that the Arnold Amateur is held on, and the prejudging is done on the expo stage, which is like literally in an expo. It's a stage in the middle of like a million booths where people are like shopping around buying stuff, and a bunch of other sports are going on. So lighting is always different between prejudging and finals at this show. I feel like that's toward the Olympia too, but I do not know for sure. I've never been to the Olympia. Um, so yeah, I thought everyone looked better on the final stream. I think the pink really looks pretty on Amy, and yeah, so that's where I'm at there. So I had some comments yesterday talking about the detail we see on Vanya's quad here when she's in her front pose, which is not as apparent right there, but I have her comparison photo right here. So they were talking about this, and I get why people would say that, and what I said in the comments, but I'll say here since it was not just one person, is that you want conditioning to be balanced across the entire body. So if this were just like a blank slate, then her conditioning would not be balanced everywhere with the rest of her body because she has detail here in this hip, in the shoulder, in the core, in this back arm, in the calf here. Like she has conditioning everywhere else. So if she didn't have any of this, then that would be an imbalance, and then she might not look like she is balanced in her muscularity, number one, but conditioning, number two, which I just described. An example of what too much conditioning there would be. Let's look at Jennifer Dory. Okay, I always look up Jennifer, and then I go to Mr. Olympia, and then I look up Valeria. How do you spell her? Okay, maybe she didn't go to that. She went to that one, I thought. Okay, either way, Valeria would be a good example of this. Here she is. So this would be too conditioned. We are seeing, this is actually isn't as good of an example, but let's look at like the DC show. Oh, she was with a different coach at this time, and was not coming in as lean as she normally does. So I feel like I'm totally eating my words right now. I know that it looks like this. Okay, at Prague it looked like this. So Valeria is someone who will have like cross striations. You can see it more here where you see the like actual grooves of the muscle itself going like crossing her thigh, whereas normal like acceptable conditioning would be like seeing this shape right here, but seeing these extra little lines, it's also called feathering, which is something she has. You see it when she moves on stage, not as well in this picture, but like that amount of conditioning, which you can see on her front leg here, that amount of conditioning would be too much on the inner thigh. So if Vanya had that, then yeah, that would be a problem, but that's not really what she is rocking with. So yeah, that's what I think about that. and I had like actual notes written down. Oh, okay. I feel like I have some apologies to make. So I always am concerned that I like come off like I'm picking on certain people. Like Jordan is someone that I worry I picked on yesterday, and Tamikia. And I just want to say that all of these athletes are obviously excellent and like they deserve to be at this show. They were all hand selected. You have to apply. Hundreds of people apply. Only 12 are selected. 2 dropped out. So it's like a big deal to be accepted. It means something. It means you are like a very good athlete to be accepted. And you also have to meet certain criteria to apply, like a certain placing or whatever, like within a certain period of time. I don't know. I've never applied. But yeah, obviously all these athletes are good. So what I was picking on Tamikia about, does the air quote undermine what I just said about picking on someone? So I was saying that Tamikia, if she just like nails her conditioning across her body, then she is a contender to win any title. Obviously I'm sure she knows that, and that is what they are working on. Like I don't think it's like a secret to her that she needs to work on that. So I'm sure that's what they're working on, and it's just tough. But I want to highlight that Tamikia is like obviously a great athlete, been in the Olympia twice, and at her first Olympia, there were 50 some competitors, or almost 50 competitors, and she placed 15th at her first Olympia. They only place until 15th place. Everyone after that is last. You can kind of tell based on the call out you were in, where you landed, like a range, like 16 to 20 range, which is where she landed in 2024, but she placed in 2023. So this is Tamikia's best look. And I'm not just saying that because that's her best Olympia placing. I'm saying that because her conditioning is even from top to bottom. You are not seeing any of this squishiness that we're seeing right here, especially on this leg, just for this photo. You're not seeing that in this photo. She looks even across her entire body, and even she like has that same amount of detail that Vania does in both of these photos. So yeah, I am just really looking forward to the day that Tamikia is like able to nail that consistently, because she's nailed it before. She won one of the biggest shows there is, which is Sasquatch. I think it was Sasquatch. I'll have to look it up. But I think that's what she won in 2023. You know what? Let me just put an end to this now, and we're going to look it up right now. So, hold please, Tamikia. Oh, she didn't compete at that one. Okay. Fuck. What did I just say I was going to look up? Her placing. Where she placed. Okay. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. That's what my dad says. Okay, I didn't mean to click on her. So Tamikia, she won Sasquatch in 23, I believe. Okay, yeah, she won Sasquatch, and that is how she qualified for 2023. And she was against 1 million people. There were 44. It always says one extra because they count this little comparison line. There were 44 competitors. She's a very good athlete. Eureka that year placed above her at the Olympia, which means she beat someone who placed even higher than her at the Olympia. Unless Eureka placed 12th in 2022, the year before, I'm not sure. But either way, multiple Olympia people. Like, I'm looking at this and I see 5 people that have been to the Olympia, and she's beaten them. Lacey, Ashley Hampton, Jessica Dolias, Yulia, Maya, Eureka. Not Malu yet, but I look forward to 2025 because she probably will qualify, hopefully. She's missed her qualification narrowly twice in 2023, placing second 2 times. You have to get first place to win. And then in the past, she's also had high placings, like 3rd place and stuff. So yeah, that is my take. That's apology number 1. Okay. And then Jordan, that's someone I picked on yesterday. So, Jordan. So what was I saying about Jordan? I was just saying that she had gotten too big. In her triceps, needed more hamstring. She posted today that she got sick a week before, or like last weekend or something, and then they were having trouble filling her out. And what else did Jordan say? Said that, yeah, she just needed to come in softer. Let me look. Said that she needed to come in softer, and that they love the improvement she made from last season. Density shape is perfect. So maybe that means I'm wrong on the hamstring thing. I still think that. I guess we would just see what she needs to look like when she is like in the perfect conditioning, and then I will reevaluate, but I still think so. Presentation and posing improved tremendously. Too hard and vascular, need to contain and soften. Okay. Too hard and vascular, need to contain. So contain, I guess she just means contain her vascularity, like don't push it too far, and soften up. But yeah, contain. I don't know. Now I'm picking on her again with the syntax. I'm like, contain? What do you mean by that? So yeah, I think makeup doesn't look as harsh as this last one. I think also her roots were darker here, which added to the darkness I was seeing in her eyes. Lighting is different too, but I think the brighter hair in the front here really softened up the makeup. So yeah, I feel good about that. And then hair, perfect. You know I was not happy about this. I would say that since the Olympia, her triceps do look significantly more developed than they did then. And she was even tighter at the Arnold than she was at the Olympia. So, yeah, that is something from me, like, you know, downsizing or just maybe changing her peak is what's going to solve that, but it is a little bit distracting for me. So yeah, go Jordan. I'm excited to see what she does next this season. She's already Olympia qualified. She qualified at Legion, I think, for next year. Or when did she qualify for? Or when did she? Okay, now we're just going on a little bit of a deep dive with me. That's what you're gonna get on this channel. Sometimes I get sidetracked and we go down extra rabbit holes, and a lot of you seem to like it, and that's just how it's gonna be. Okay, Legion, September 20. Oh yeah, okay, she did qualify for next year because she had already qualified for the year before that. This is a painting my friend made me. Isn't that incredible? She gave it to me the day before, or the day that I moved across the country, like drove from Missouri to California, and she was like, it's an oil painting, so it's gonna take about 3 days to dry. And I was like, girl, my car is like filled, it's brimming with stuff. Where am I gonna put this? And it ended up being fine. Okay, moving on. Do I have any more apologies to make? Okay. I have not an apology, but something I wanted to say. So Maria, I said I think it would take more time for her to start doing, like, winning these big shows like in New York or Pittsburgh, which, by the way, she got 4th place at Pittsburgh last year, and she had less muscle than she does now. So that was her yesterday, and then let's look at her in Pittsburgh. And see the growth that she has accrued. I made a bunch of photo comparisons, yet here I am searching, period. Okay, here she is in Pittsburgh, and the glutes are going to be the biggest difference. So here are her glutes in Pittsburgh. God, Maria is just like so fucking good. She's just amazing. Are you okay? I haven't looked at these yet. Are you kidding me? They're humongous. So I think I don't know what's missing for her. I think maybe her core looked a little tight yesterday, but what do we expect? Like, you're gonna have abs when you do the show. I thought it looked a little hard, but I'm not sure. In this front pose, maybe she's sitting to her hip, and that's why it's flattening this outer edge here. They call the upper outer edge. If she stood tall, maybe it would round more, but I don't know. Her waist isn't looking thick or anything, and that's usually what happens when you sit into your hip. So yeah, I think it's just going to be, I hate to say, more upper glute for this front pose. I think that is the missing piece for me when I look at it. And she's not way too lean or something, like her core being crazy, because we don't see much of that detail in the leg here. Could just be the picture, but, may as well say it. And then, okay, I wrote, I think it could be as soon as Pittsburgh or New York. Oh yeah, I think she could do really well as soon as Pittsburgh or New York if it'll take some time to put some muscle on here. But I see her winning those shows, like, next year. If she chose to do those shows, I see her winning them, assuming she continues to put in as much work as she currently is, which I don't see why she wouldn't. She seems like that's her goal, And then Yeah, okay. And I wrote another note that was like, okay, did she get fourth at Pittsburgh or New York? Because New York, it would be a different story. Because New York last year, everyone knew Amy was going to do it, and she had just won Pittsburgh. So way less people entered into that show. There were like 12 people compared to Pittsburgh, which had like probably 30 or more. I'm not sure. So, yeah. Suits look better. That was a note I had. Jasmine improved. And Jasmine sportsmanship. Let's just look at Jasmine's sportsmanship, because is she a complete gem or what? Uh okay. Let's look at Jasmine go and hug someone, because I am just in love. So when, okay, look at this. Look at Jasmine being like, get over here, girl, hug me. I love her so much. So, a lot of people might be thinking, what went wrong with Jasmine? She's placed third at the Olympia. Why is she not winning the Arnold? Seems like that would be the obvious outcome. Well, Jasmine, let's bring up her photos from the Olympia. Oh, I made another comparison. So here she got sixth place yesterday. And let's look at the people who were like solidly in whatever place. So Vania beat Amy by 3 points. Amy beat Ashley by 2. Maria, and then it was solid across the board for positions 4 to 6. So Maria, Ari, and Jasmine were solidly in their places. And then there was some question between Tamikia and Jordan, with Tamikia edging Jordan out by 3 points. And then I didn't pull up comparisons of Anastasia or Angelica, because it was kind of a toss-up as to who was going to be in 10th place yesterday. And we'll talk about Angelica too. So let me make a note that I'm going to talk about Angelica. Okay, what the heck? I just made a new note. Okay, so let's look at Jasmine. So what happened between the Olympia and yesterday? So she said that she was going to wear less voluminous hair so it wouldn't cover her shoulders like it did at the Olympia, which didn't hurt her. She still got third place. And she said that she was going to bring her hamstrings in softer because they were too tight. That was like her feedback, and her own feedback for herself was the hair. So she did that on the hair. The hair looked gorgeous. She didn't always have it off her shoulders, unfortunately, but in this photo, that's pretty good. I'd like to see it off both, but that's pretty good. And all that it would take is just like, moving it really quick. And she knows that. She'll figure that out. She's probably already decided that. And her front pose, perfect. I don't really have anything to say. She is a little vascular in here, but like I said about Jordan yesterday, some people are just a little more vascular. And you can't really help it. Again, it didn't hurt her at the Olympia, and she beat out Amy, who was like pretty soft, and Jasmine was harder, and then who beat Jasmine was not that hard. It was Ashley. So that means that when that happens, it's not always going to come down to conditioning. So, like, if things were going to come down to conditioning, it would have been Vanya and Ashlyn right next to each other, no matter what order that is. So whether that's like Vanya, then Ashlyn, and then Amy, because Amy was the softest, or Amy, Vanya, Ashlyn, in whatever order, because they were harder than her. That's why other things start to factor in, like stage presentation. I was saying that Vanya had stage presentation on almost everyone in the league. So things like that, poise, confidence, like, are you able to hold your poses? All of that stuff factors in. It's not just about the conditioning. Because if someone just like keeps pulling your vision to them, then they might edge someone out who like just on paper fits the criteria of the physique and conditioning itself more. So what happened with Jasmine yesterday, I think maybe had she had the hair off the shoulders the whole time, then it could have been different. Like, she could have gone up a place or something. I'm not sure. But I think the real thing was, like, look at how impressive this glute transformation is in such a short time. What the fuck? What am I doing? Oh, no. Oh, why do I have it flipped like that? Okay, whatever. So I guess just put my hand over that part, the center. Yeah, so she put a lot of volume on her glutes, was not too hard on the hamstrings at all. Hamstrings looked perfect. But her glutes were so full that it was throwing off her balance between top and bottom. And that's why I say if her hair were off her shoulders, maybe it would have leveled things out more, but honestly, I don't think so. But Jasmine looked incredible. Like, I don't know what she'll need to do. I don't know if she said anything about what they need to do. But yeah, just because Jasmine got third at the Olympia, it matters who shows up that day and who is more comparable to each other. And Jasmine was just not compared against the same people that she was a few months ago. So yeah, it's depending on who shows up. Okay, Jasmine hasn't posted anything about it that I know of. I'm not gonna go through her story right now. So yeah, Jasmine looked incredible. I'm excited to see what the year ahead looks like for her, because that physique would win pretty much any show. It just didn't win this one. So let's go into, I'll just pull up Vanya and Amy next to each other since they were first and second. I said yesterday it looked like Amy was sitting into her hip too much. Don't love that. And then I'll pull up her, geez Louise. How do I, okay, I didn't even know I could do that. Okay, here she is when she's standing up taller and not sitting into her hip. Oh, well maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, it looked like she was sitting into her hip to me. Maybe she's not. But yeah, okay, looking at them next to each other, I would say Amy was just a little bit too soft yesterday, which I already said yesterday. But since scores came out, then I'll say it again. So I think Vanya's conditioning was a little more balanced than Amy's. And actually, they were both really balanced. I think it's just Vanya's stage presence. I think Vanya just has it. I think Amy was a little bit softer in the glutes. I'd like to see her Pittsburgh conditioning again, which I'll pull up again in a sec. But yeah, it was just, I think, Vanya's presence, and Vanya did not lose core control when they were pushing them in those comparisons, when they were spinning them around like over and over again. So Vanya just has like that wow factor that Amy is still working towards. It's just too much extra stuff with hair in the posing routine, and she just needs to like cut the fat from the routine, and she needs to have that confidence on stage the whole time. Vanya always looks like she's really enjoying being there, and Amy of course is enjoying being there, but it seems like she drops the mask throughout the time she's on stage. Like, so over the duration, then there are times where it seems like she just drops the mask of like her stage persona, and it's like you're seeing her stage persona, and then you're seeing creep in like really thinking about what's going on stage. And obviously you should be thinking about it, but you want to step into that stage persona and not leave it until you've stepped off stage. So yeah, and Vanya's movements are just very fluid. Amy's are a little choppier. So yeah, I think it was stage presence that won it for Vanya, and her conditioning. So let's look at Amy's, and I know I always bring this up. You know what? Apology issued to Amy too, because I feel like I pick on her. So here is what I think Amy's best look, well, at least what judges have told Amy her best look was. I think she did improve, like, not sloping the shoulder down, like she's sloping it down a little bit here. She was doing the same thing at the Olympia, but this fullness on the upper outer edge of the glute is what I want to see out of Amy. And she looks just overall tighter and more like I'm getting more projection from her glutes in Pittsburgh than I am here, including the rest of her physique. Like, I'm seeing more pop in the shoulders as well. So Amy, just since maybe that show, let me look at her stage history really quick, because maybe I'll be lying yet again. Amy's conditioning, I think that was the best conditioning I've ever seen her with. And unless she did a show after that I'm forgetting. Pittsburgh, New York was really good, and then it was Olympia, and that was not her best showing. So yeah, Pittsburgh look, I know it sucks, but like just having to recapture that look again. Okay, so that was Amy, and then what do I think was going on between Amy and Ashlyn? I think Ashlyn was really losing core control. I think that, I think number one, Ashlyn was losing core control. Number two, which is probably the bigger thing, I think Ashlyn, because of her muscle insertions, like her shoulder insertion being so short compared to like this, it's not a crazy long glute insertion. It's not as long as Amy's, but it's longer than like Laura Lee's, which I'll show you Laura Lee, and like Ashley K's. Also pull up Ashley K since she got second Amy at this show, and I already have that show pulled up. So Ashley K has a shorter glute insertion. And then if I pull up Ashlyn, she has a longer one than like Ashley does. So it's like it's right in the middle. And what I'm trying to say about that is I think the way her muscles insert, and this could totally be me. I think I said this yesterday too. I think it just makes her look imbalanced from top to bottom, but it's not really anything that she's doing wrong or that she needs to do more of. I think it's just that. Like, I would like to see, and she has her hair off her shoulder here, which is something I said I wanted yesterday. And it does show me that, yeah, she could stand up a little bit straighter. Like, right now, she's kind of tipped forward. Just stand up a little bit straighter and get that lat, like, directly above the glute almost. I mean, it's tough when her glutes are humongous. But, like, Jasmine's a good example. The edge of that lat is like right above where most people's glute would end. I don't know. But she's just standing more upright than Ashlyn. And they're on the same team, and not even that matters because Jasmine has proven time and time again that she's a great sport. But she was like very excited for Ashlyn when Ashlyn was in the top 3. And you could see her like, I don't know what she like gestured or like said something to Ashlyn on stage when they were all exiting after Ashlyn was in that final 3 callback. So that was, look, Jazz, Miss Congeniality. That's who she is. So yeah, I want her to stand up taller and then like that way the chest is upright and all that. But yeah, I think that's where Ashlyn runs into just like a structural issue. But that also goes to show you that a structural issue is not necessarily like life and death in the sport. Like, she still got 3rd place in the Arnold, and I think could even get 3rd place at the Olympia, could even win an Olympia, but that is just a genetic thing she needs to overcome. And I think a lot of it could be solved with just standing more upright. That's not going to change the insertion, but it might make her look a little more balanced from top to bottom. So I think she's losing that balance in top to bottom in multiple ways. 1 is the insertions themselves, and then 2, just standing up taller. And 3, the suit choice. She also has a shorter torso, so, like, this little area is very short compared to, say, even Maria, who is also a short queen. But yeah, everyone's body is different, obviously. That's not, like, the news. Yeah, not me giving, like, an armchair anatomy lesson that I know nothing about. So, yeah, that's what I think there. And I don't know that she was pinching her shoulder blades like I said yesterday. So here she is with what I said her best look was. That is her best look. Okay, yeah. So at the Arnold, was she pinching them? Because I was just... Maybe she wasn't. This picture is just off center though. But yeah. I mean, I was watching the live stream yesterday and it was straight on. So who knows? Maybe she's not pinching them though. I'm willing to believe that. But I think that... the conditioning at the Texas Pro, this is the closest she's gotten since the Texas Pro, given she's only done one show, the Olympia. But I think this conditioning, had she brought it yesterday, she could have gotten in that 2nd place, for sure. Let's just look at her next to Amy. I know it's different lighting, but I think, yeah, the tightness right there, not that that was a separating factor between the two yesterday, maybe it was, I'm not sure. But I think that, like, with this look, Ashlyn could have edged out Amy yesterday. Not that even matters. I'm not trying to rewrite history. But I'm just saying this, I think, was Ashlyn's best look. And I would like to see her with that look again. You can just see that it's, like, even though this looks great, it does look a little bit softer to me. Not even really in a bad way. But I think it's just more drastic, the difference in conditioning, when this lower half is soft and her upper always reads as so hard because of the tiny, tiny, tiny bit of vascularity she gets there and the shorter insertion. So, yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think there. Okay. I'm like, am I ready to move on? I don't know. Okay. And then I said I was going to talk. Okay, well, should I bring everyone's picture? Maria, we already talked about her. I was not, I guess, surprised to see Ariana in 5th place over Jasmine. But I mean, maybe a little bit. She just seems much softer than the other people, which is okay. She has enough muscle to, like, overcome that and still push out against the skin and look like you have all the same lines, which she does. It was just a little squishy here. But I think that just speaks to how big Jasmine's glutes looked in comparison to the rest of her, that took away from balance. Ariana, while soft here, is balanced all around, like 360 balanced. Jazzy did not look quite as balanced yesterday. So I think that's how Ari edged her out. And then we already went over Tamikia, and then we have Jordan, went over Jordan. So let's talk about Angelica really quick. Angelica, it was really cute. She hung up her heels on stage. She did her routine. She came out in red, and I was like, girl, why were you not wearing red for your whole career? Like, it looked so good. And I know we see red suits all the time, but, like, it looked so, so good. Let's find the part where there she is. Okay. So, she does her routine. The red looks incredible. Oh, did I mess it up? Okay. So, does her final front pose, well, before they bring her out for, like, a confirmation of scoring. Okay. Well, it froze. Oh, okay. Takes them off. And then, yeah, it was really sweet. It was really sweet. And then she, like, gave a speech later. And I didn't listen to the speech. I just was ready for bed. So, yeah, that was the show. And I'm trying to think, is there anything that I missed? I think that's it. Well, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you to everyone who commented. It makes this a lot more fun for me. And for the people who subscribed, that made my day. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.